Hey everyone, come. Let's have a little chat, just us. We're going to talk about something that a lot of us go through, but maybe we don't always talk about it out loud. You know? Those periods that are just a lot. The really, really heavy ones.
I mean, seriously, have you ever felt like your period is just doing way too much? Like it didn't get the memo to just chill out? It's less like a visitor and more like that one relative who shows up, makes a mess, and just refuses to leave. Sound familiar?
Listen, if you've ever felt like that, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are so not alone. So many of us are right there with you. And it's important to know that what you're going through isn't just a bad period. It's a real thing. It even has a medical name.
All right, so let's talk about it. That extra heavy period.
So here's the word, menorrhagia. I know, it sounds super serious and complicated, doesn't it? But really all it is the medical way of saying your periods involve really heavy bleeding or they go on for a super long time. That's it. It just gives it a name.
Okay, so let's do a little check-in. Does any of this sound like you? Are you the one who's changing your pad or tampon like every hour on the hour? Is your period lasting longer than 7 days, just dragging on and on? What about passing large blood clots? Or, oh my goodness, waking up in the morning and realizing you've soaked through everything? And it's not just the bleeding, right? It's that feeling of being completely wiped out. So tired, maybe even a bit short of breath, plus that constant, dull ache in your lower stomach. If you're sitting there nodding, yeah, this is for you.
All right, so what's really going on in there? Why is this happening?
Well, the truth is, it's not always one single thing, you know? It's often a mix of different factors that can all contribute to that heavy bleeding.
So, a few of the usual suspects. First up, a hormonal imbalance. You know, your hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are supposed to work together like a team. When they get their signals crossed, things can get a little chaotic. Then there are uterine fibroids. These are just growths in the uterus, and they're not cancerous, but they can definitely cause issues. Sometimes your ovaries might not release an egg, and that can throw your hormones all out of whack. And of course, things like pregnancy complications or even other medical conditions like liver or kidney disease can play a role.
And look, this is why we're having this chat. Because just toughing it out every single month, that's not the move. If you just let it go, it can actually lead to other health problems down the line.
So here's how it all connects. All that extra blood loss, it can lead to something called anemia. Basically, your body ends up with a shortage of iron-rich red blood cells. And what does that feel like? Well, it's that bone-deep tiredness and weakness. You might notice your skin is a bit pale or you get out of breath easily. So that exhaustion you feel, it might be way more than just period tiredness. It could be your body telling you something bigger is going on.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk about solutions. How do we get the right help for this?
So if you're listening to all this and thinking, yup, that's me, what's the next step? Where do you even start?
It's actually pretty straightforward. Think of it like a little action plan. First, become a detective of your own body. Start a journal. Track your cycle. Make notes about your symptoms, especially on those heavy days. Then, step 2, take that journal and go see your doctor. It's going to make your conversation so much easier and more helpful. And finally, step 3, just be ready to do whatever tests your doctor suggests to get a real clear picture of what's happening.
And please, don't let the word tests freak you out. They're usually really simple things. Like, they might suggest a blood test to check for anemia. Or an ultrasound. That's the one where they get a little picture of your uterus and ovaries. You've probably heard of a pap test, which just checks the cells on your cervix. And sometimes, though it's pretty rare, they might want to take a tiny sample of tissue. Every single test is just one more piece of the puzzle to help figure things out.
Okay, but let's get serious for a second. There are a few things that are not wait-and-see situations. If you're bleeding through a pad or tampon every single hour, if you have bleeding or even just spotting between your periods, or if you have any vaginal bleeding after menopause, you need to call your doctor immediately. Don't put it off. This is important.
All right, let's talk about managing the day-to-day. Because while you're figuring all this out, life goes on, and so does your period.
So while you're on that journey to get answers, you still have to manage, right? The source material we're drawing from has some really practical tips on using the right products to make life a little easier. Let's break it down. For daytime, when you're trying to just live your life without worrying about leaks, look for those maxi-thick pads that have barriers. They can give you so much peace of mind. And for sleeping, a good night pad with a wider back can be a total game changer. No more waking up in a panic.
If comfort is your main goal, something like a cotton soft pad can make a world of difference. And if you're a tampon person, don't be afraid to go for the Super Plus options with good absorption channels. It's all about finding what makes you feel secure.
You know, this quote from the source really hits home for me. It says, "Dealing with menorrhagia can be a little tough, but you need to remember that seeking medical treatment is the best way to deal with it." And that's really the heart of it all. Yes, it's tough, it is, but please remember, you don't just have to put up with it. The absolute best thing you can do for yourself is to get help.
So I'll leave you with this question. Are you ready? Ready to take charge of your cycle? Ready to get the answers and the comfort that you 100% deserve? I really hope so, because you can. You really, really can.